Good morning, YouTubers. Tsquare with Tsquare Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. Got a great video planned out for you guys today. Today is Saturday morning, and every Saturday morning I like to take all my Friday comments. People know that I do this every week, and they specifically ask questions that they really want to get a firm answer on. So every question that I get on my Friday comments, I read every single one of the comments and I talk a few minutes about them on our Saturday morning video. It gives you an opportunity to get a more one-on-one answer. And if you have the question, there's probably other people that have that same question. So I do that basically every Saturday. Sometimes Saturdays our videos do run a little longer because we get a lot of comments of people asking specific questions, and I try to give the most detailed answer. It's almost like it's your personal video just for you, but you also get to see other people's questions, so it's really good. And I think we got a great video today because right off the bat, I'll be honest, the very first question that came up, I'm like, oh my word, I hate this question. It's not because it's a bad question. It's because it's a question that it's one thing that I personally take a lot of flack for. A lot of people don't like my thoughts on it. However, my situation is a little different than a lot of others. So I am a little bit more blunt, I guess, about it, but I'm honest. I give you guys my straight up answer, and if it hurts the channel or it makes you think less of me, you're more than welcome to leave a comment and put your opinion in, but it's what I feel is the safest option for me at the moment. So we're going to see what that question is, because some people already might even know. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know. Right off the bat, taking a quick look, though, before we get started, I like to just run through the numbers real quick. I'm not going to give too much detail over anything because we talk about the detail every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Saturday is just the fun video where you get a more one-on-one answer because the markets are closed. We got silver right now at $77.32. A lot of people super excited about what's going to happen at the end of the month. Is there going to be a failure to deliver, or are they going to find a way to kind of keep kicking this can down the road? Right off the bat, failure to deliver only happens if the inventory runs out. So the big question is, are they going to run out of inventory this month? The inventory is dwindling when it comes to silver at the COMEX. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll kick the can down the road another month. But more and more people are getting scared, and they want their silver. They don't want paper. They don't want to be settled out. And so we'll see how that plays out. Now, the 77.32 might discourage some people, but what I want people to see is the 1 week chart. It seems like the week ended right where we started, 77.50, 77.50, and you can see the chart right here. It looks good. I mean, we had a week of sideways trading. It's a whole lot better than a week of a beatdown, and it's a whole lot better than, I mean, I won't say better than a climb. It's better than a climb if you're still stacking, if you're still trying to accumulate ounces, then, hey, it is what it is. Taking a quick look at gold, we got gold right now at $5,041. Looking good today. It's been doing well, in my opinion. If you look over at our 5-day, there again, we're pretty close to where we were 5 days ago, even though we had that huge drop. And we clawed our way back up. So we'll see how this plays out as the month comes to an end. Taking a quick look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin up a little bit, even though it shows it's down 69 points. You got to understand that 69 points is just so small. I'm going to call it even. We were as low as 60,000, so I would even say it's up right now. But we'll see how this continues, what happens with the trajectory of Bitcoin. Taking a quick look at the dollar index, the DXY, taking a little bit of a hit, not devastating. However, it has been slowly inching down, and some people are getting a little skittish. They're starting to see what's going on. I actually had one person comment to me in person today, and she was like, I heard Trump flaunting how great, you know, he's pumped up the stock market and everything's better and things are going good. And here's the thing. I mean, you know, it would take nothing to pump up the stock market. All they got to do is beat down the dollar a little bit more, make the dollar weaker, and everything goes up in price, including gold, silver, stocks, everything. And I kind of think that's what they're doing a little bit. The only thing that's bad about that is inflation goes up too. People spend more money, and essentially it costs them more money. And a lot of people get squeezed out, especially people that are living on fixed incomes, or people that are even going to work and they have a set amount of hours, set pay. Generally, people have stayed at their companies for a long period of time. They're not seeing the raises, but if prices of food, gas, everything, everyday expenses go up, it makes it a whole lot harder on people. Taking a quick look at the debt, still, this is kind of crazy. It seems like it's barely moving now. It's going up fast. But what I mean by barely moving is we have been sitting at 38 trillion, 685 billion, even though it was down to 80 billion, 680 billion yesterday. $4 billion sounds like a lot, and it is, but it's not when you're looking at a almost $39 trillion debt. So people really need to kind of keep an eye on this and understand that things are not getting better despite what people think, or the, I don't want to say propaganda, but it is what it is. Things are not looking good right now. I always check this every day just to see. No new banks failed. The last one that failed was on January 30th. We already talked about that when it first happened. That was a couple weeks ago, so water under the bridge now. Taking a quick look at the gold-silver ratio, we're back up to 65.16, up a little higher today. So we'll see if we start moving in the upward direction or downward direction. I expect we're going to see some big moves closer to the end of the month, but that's kind of old news. A lot of people know some big stuff is going to happen close to the end of the month, and we'll see how that plays out. Taking a look at the Shanghai silver price, we have silver at 86.74. Now, 86.74 compared to 77, still about a $9 difference, but time will tell on that as well. And that is going to be it on that part. Now we're going to jump in and we're going to start reading our questions for the day. If you enjoyed today's video, as always, I have to say, please take a quick minute, help me out, hit that thumbs up button, leave me a comment, let me know your thoughts if you have different thoughts than something that I said, or if you just want to say good morning, it really helps out the algorithm. And it's a comment. You get to put your name out there, be the first one to put a comment or whatever. Even if it's just good morning, it really helps me out with the algorithm. I'm trying to grow the channel. So, and please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Okay. So, right off the bat, the very first one that I was kind of dreading when I glanced at it, and I'm only dreading it because, like I said, my situation is a little different, and I'll explain once I read the comment. So, Troll, happy Saturday. With the Asian markets closed, do you predict even stronger downward manipulation this coming week? For newer stackers or experienced ones that need more storage space, I recommend buying a quality Pew Pew safe and using it to store your precious metals. Most safes of this type are very secure and have fire resistant for hour or if not 2. Your thoughts on this? Have a great Saturday. So right off the bat, absolutely. On the first part, I don't mind. That's not the touchy part. The touchy part is the safe. We're going to get to that. Yeah, with Asian markets closed, for those of you that don't know, we are in the Lunar New Year, and most of Asia will be closed down next week. A lot of stuff closed, which means people won't be at their desk buying the dip. I hate to say it like that. I'm hoping it's not a dip, but there is a strong possibility in my mind that if it looks like a default is coming, then why not beat the heck out of the price as much as you can, and that way you can just settle in paper. If a default comes. Questions are, excuse me, hold on. Excuse me. The question is, one, will the default be coming at the end of this month? Will there be a default? Will they run out of actual silver in the COMEX and something will happen and they will say, we're just going to have to settle in paper? Will some major event happen? I actually heard something today that we need to send troops to Colombia to stabilize the region. And I kind of chuckled just a little bit. I mean, I feel bad for people in Colombia, but I was like, dude, how many different places are we going to send troops to stabilize it? Before it used to be we're sending troops to spread freedom. Now we're sending troops everywhere to stabilize it. Here's the thing. All this cost money. And, I don't want to get too political on this, but anytime the governments have to spend, that comes at a cost. And that is causing the dollar to weaken, as we've been seeing. The dollar is on a 4-year, I think it was, low right now at 96.88, and we continue to slowly sink a little bit lower. And yes, I do think we're going to have possibly a lot of manipulation in the U.S. markets next week. Big banks have already been busted multiple times for trying to rig the precious metals or spoofing or market manipulation when it comes to precious metals. And the thing that's been countering that is another country wanting to step in and buy up the dip. Now, they won't be around to buy up the dip next week, so I do worry a little bit. However, anything can happen because we're getting close to the settlement. That could be the settlement that breaks the system, and if that happens, some people may be buying it up because there's a lot of people out there that understand a little bit about what's going on, but then they think paper is the way to go, and so they buy more paper contracts thinking that they have a claim to silver when they don't. Now, the next part of the comment is the part that is different from my situation. So some of y'all know I have been broken into. Some people have this belief, and I find it comical when people tell me, you must be a multimillionaire now, because I talk about silver, thinking that maybe my entire life savings is invested in silver and that I've just got, I don't know, tons of it. So I have been broken into. So I don't keep stuff at my house. I do use safety deposit boxes, but I am public about my position, that I do have stuff outside my house because of that. And if people did break in again, I guess they would get my TV. They get a couple decent things, I like to think. There's a couple boxes of pennies that I've been meaning to go through. I actually know someone that is a subscriber and member of the channel. He went to a bank one day. He bought 2 boxes of pennies, put them on his front seat, stopped for gas, went in to get a soda, and his side window was smashed out for a lousy $50 in pennies. And it was so sad because this is the type of guy that would literally give the shirt off his back to someone that needs it, with no questions asked. And see something like that happen, I was like, that is awful. So I got to say, obviously when it comes to safes, a lot of safes people can break into. Nothing is foolproof. The only foolproof thing is essentially people not knowing you have it. Now, most of you are not in the same situation as me. You are not talking about this on a regular basis. You're not helping tons of people get into it. You're not the first person someone calls when they're trying to link up with a buyer or a seller or whatever the case may be. I sometimes even have emails from people that around the country. They're like, hey, do you know anybody in this area or anybody you would recommend? And I don't recommend anything financial. I might tell you, if it were me, I would consider looking here. I would ask here. It's easy to pull up what's in someone's area. I have done that for people before. I don't check my email on a regular basis. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have a lot going on, especially right now. I'm trying to decomplicate my life, but I'm also looking at a big real estate investment right now. And someone's like, dude, you ain't trying to you think that ain't going to complicate your life? It probably will, but sometimes people are just gluttons for punishment. So when it comes to safes, though, I am not by any means very knowledgeable on this. However, I did meet with a friend of mine. He's like, dude, you ain't breaking into this safe. And he had showed me his safe. And he said, take a look at this. You can't even get a crowbar in this tiny little sliver of an opening. On top of that, it has something like 12 or 16 security pins that even if you did get it open a little bit, you would have to find a way to pry those pins or cut them without a lip. He goes, you could probably, most of the time, they have to tip them over. That way they can get some leverage, but then they still got to find a way to get the crowbar in there. It makes it very difficult. Some of these safes, even locksmiths, have to drill them open, and it takes time. The fireproof aspect, from what I understand, a couple hours, on average an hour, 2 hours. Most burning houses are not going to burn the safe for an hour, 2 hours straight when you really think about it. So usually the fire department's going to get there in a worst case scenario, we'll say 10 minutes. And that's just my opinion. And then, it does start catching fire around it. It spreads, but they go in. Once they start hosing stuff down, it's usually out pretty quick. So there are a lot of good safes that I personally have looked into, but I haven't really fully decided what or know enough about them to do that. I have a lot of friends that have them. Some friends have multiple safes. Obviously, don't buy one of those cheap, flimsy ones. If you're going to spend the money on a safe, break down and spend some money. I thought about buying one and putting it in my storage unit at one point, and then I missed the Black Friday and Christmas sales by one day. I was so disappointed. I went in, and they told me, they're like, the sale ended yesterday. They had 72 pew-pew safes. I kind of got that word out. I try not to say that word on the channel. It's a frowned on word. But needless to say, it held 72 of them. It was a Canon, and it was only like $800 tax-free. And so I was like, So I was a little heartbroken that I missed that. Even if I didn't keep it in my house, a storage unit, it's hard to know what storage unit people have and that type of stuff, so it's hard for people to track it. So moving on to the next question. Not every answer is going to be that drawn out, but when I seen it, it hit home. So, and here's the thing, Troll always has good comments every week. So taking a look, next one, Chris Paul. Hey, T, I hope you had a good week health-wise. Just want to answer one question myself that tons of people often ask and are clueless. Why don't they arrest the manipulators and bankers? Friends, it's the same people who own the court system, and if you name who that obvious contingent is, you will probably lose your YouTube channel. So here's the thing. It's usually big banks. I'll say JP Morgan has been one of the leading one. There's a lot of them. It's easy money. It's hard to arrest everybody for every little thing. And eventually when they do catch them, look what happened. I mean, JP Morgan got fined $190 billion. $190 billion. I mean, it's kind of funny. A couple people did go to jail recently. So, I mean, they got a couple years in jail. They're still probably getting their paycheck sent to their family. Everything is probably business as usual. And, someone has to be sacrificed, I guess you could say. And who knows? We'll see how it plays out. But it's not going to end until they run out. Once they run out, you can manipulate the price of anything. Let me put it another way. You have I always like to use a Nike shoe store because my son is big into Nike. He actually collects the nice Nike shoes. If you go to a Nike store and they are selling Nikes at $5 a pair, clearly that is way undervalued. And let's just say everyday people are selling them for, $200 a pair or whatever the case is. I don't know, because I've seen some crazy problem. Like, those shoes are like $3,000. Are you kidding me for a pair of sneakers? I've seen some crazy stuff. However, if people are selling them on the street or at shows, conventions for $200-$300, and yet at the store, they've got them for $5 or $10. How many are they going to have at the store? They are going to run out really quick. It's not a problem until they don't have them. When they don't have them, then the problem comes up. How can you say they're $2 or $3 when you ain't got none? I'm having to pay $300, $200. You know, how about selling them for when the next batch comes in, instead of selling them for 5 or 10, how about selling them for 100 or 150, or the actual price that people are paying for them, $200? You know, that's where the problem comes in. Eventually, the inventory runs out. Right now, the COMEX still has an inventory, but that inventory is running out. Soon, there won't be any. Then the manipulation will have to come to an end. And as for people going to jail, that's probably not going to happen. There's so many issues out there if you follow certain files that I'm not going to get into on here. I mean, how many of them people have been arrested? If you follow all the different things going on in the world, people don't generally get arrested unless they're nobodies. Those are the people that get arrested, the nobodies. High up people get away with everything. It kind of sucks that that's the way it is, but it is the way it is. So we'll see what happens. I think when they run out, that's when the problem is going to be obvious. And then it will be too late. And if you've got yours, you've got yours. If you didn't, well, you're going to miss out. And who knows? I don't care where the price goes between now and then. Next week, if the price gets beat down to $20 and then they default and they pay everybody out the contract price at 20, big banks that shorted the heck out of it are going to make out like bandits. Why? Because they borrowed or they shorted at 100, at 70, at 80, at 50, and now they get to pay out at 20. That could happen, but if it happens, it doesn't change the fact of what a physical ounce is selling for. That's where premiums come in, and people aren't letting their silver go cheap. You can't pick up an ounce of silver at $77. So that's the difference. But great comment. Silver back at 30 on behalf of JP Morgan. Meanwhile, I am scooping up copper bullion. So yeah, I've heard a lot of people start talking about copper bullion. I don't think we'll go down to 30. I know I just used a $20 analogy, but it's just that. I don't think we'll go that low, but I mean, they can beat it down to any number and they profit. And they profit big time when that happens. And then that resets the entire market. And people all of a sudden recognize physical is what matters. But copper, I think, is a great play right now. You can pick it up relatively cheap. Copper, you pick up scrap copper even. And there's opportunity with copper. I think copper is going to continue to climb up. I think copper is heavily manipulated right now. I think once the silver busts and they have a default on silver, I think they will lose complete control of silver and it will be up there climbing in price. I think then they will shift their attention to copper and other cheaper metals that they can keep contained, and then we'll see what happens from there. Next comment, Pilo. Morning, T. I picked up 30 Roosevelt dimes today for $105. That's $3.50 each. That's a bit more than $2 under spot each. Huh? That's a bit more than $2 under spot each at the time. I'm happy with the price. I'm also not one of those people that worry about them being Roosevelt dimes. To me, 90% is 90%. Is still 90% silver no matter what the picture on it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this for a quick minute. And to talk about this one, I'm going to pull up this right here. So you said dimes. So right now, the melt price on a dime, let me refresh this just so I know I'm up to par. Right now, the spot price on a Roosevelt silver dime or a Mercury silver dime or any silver dime for that matter is $5.60 or 5.5997. So, I mean, it's pretty much, when you get down to 997, I would say that's pretty much the next one up. So we're talking $5.60 per dime. So looking at your comment, You paid, you said, $3.50 each. So that's 10 cents under spot, first of all, per dime, if you did the math right. I'm just going to check real quick. I'm going to pull this up. You got 30 of them. We're going to clear this. We're going to say 105 divided by 30 dimes equals 350. You did the math right. Okay, so he told you 350. Like I just showed you on here, spot price is 360. You got it 10 cents under. I'm convinced you probably could have either pushed him a little bit lower or looked around. 10 cents under for a $3.60 item, I think. Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. That says $5.59. What did we just calculate? Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I did the math wrong. Yeah, that's a big drop below spot. $5.60. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, that's $2 under spot. Is that what you came up? 210? Let me just see that again. 350 each. That's a bit more than. Oh, you called it exactly. Yeah, $2 under spot. That is very good. That is extremely good. I would pick that up in a minute. I should have caught that, but when you said 30, it threw me because I used to pick up rolls. This is what's crazy. I used to pick up rolls of Mercury dimes for about $100 a roll, $120 a roll. So, and a roll has 50. So I was like, what? And I looked at it, but you said you picked up 30. Now, here's the other thing to consider, though. You said you don't care if it's a Roosevelt dime or a Mercury dime. Here's the catch on that. Roosevelt dimes, first of all, have more silver than a Mercury dime generally, and I think they call them sitting Liberty dime, has even less silver than a Mercury dime or Roosevelt dime. In fact, I've got a short out there somewhere where I had a roll of 50 Roosevelts, a roll of 50 Mercurys, and a roll of 50 seated Liberty or standing Liberty or whatever they call them before that. And literally, as you get older and older, they got more war. And the wear, you lose a lot of silver. If you're after silver, Roosevelt's the way to go. If you want to protect it, though, a little bit with a small amount of collectability, people like Mercury dimes. People are willing to pay even more. I still see Mercury dimes, people trying to get $8, $10 a piece for a Mercury dime. I would never pay that personally, but I still see people trying to do it. People buy these dimes, they go to coin shops, they cherry pick stuff, and then they build books or whatever the case may be. Excuse me. I currently was working. I kind of backburnered it where I was working on a Mercury dime book that I had gotten, and someone's like, you're never going to find a certain year. I think it was like a 16D, or I don't know. But yeah, there are people that like Roosevelts. There's people that like Mercury. At the end of the day, silver's silver, and it really don't matter. You'll do well, I think, with them, especially in your case. You got them $2 under. At $3.50, I would back up the truck on dimes. In fact, I think a lot of people would probably agree. For $3.50 a dime, they're going to pick up whatever they can. I don't know anybody that's cheap right now. I wish I did. Trump, Musk are trying to shake out weak hands so they can get the metals dirt cheap. I don't necessarily think, personally, I hate to say this, that it's Trump and Musk. Now, Musk, I think, would like to get metals dirt cheap for Tesla, and Trump might want to get it dirt cheap for the U.S. Strategic Stockpile Reserve, but I don't even think that. Well, I think Elon might understand, but I don't think Trump understands the manipulation that's taking place. But I could be wrong on that note. I just don't think he understands the manipulation, who's doing it. Well, it's the big banks. It's big banks here in the United States, and I don't think he knows, because I had listened to a speech that he had talked about how we're not going to let China keep manipulating the precious metals markets. I don't really think it's China manipulating. China is smart. They're buying it up right now. They're buying up the physical. They are doing exactly what a lot of stackers are doing out there. And it wouldn't take nothing, I believe, to end up taking half of the stackers' silver. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that if they knew they could sell for a limited window, 1 week, 1 month, you could sell your silver to the United States government tax-free. A lot of people would cash their silver in, even close to these prices, and just get rid of it. But I don't think the government is smart enough to do that. I hate to say that. Essentially, I don't speak highly of politicians. I mean, they're not the brightest people. They're definitely people. They know how to say things that people will like to hear. But at the end of the day, if I was the government, I would just launch my own precious metals department. I would shell out some money. I would buy a big refinery. Refineries ain't even buying 90% silver right now. That means that if one refinery stepped up their game and had extra money, somehow, paper money, they could be buying up all of the 90% silver and just load up on it. Right now, I tell people, you have an opportunity of a lifetime picking up 90% under spot, just like Pilo did in the previous comment above, picking it up $2 under spot. I want you to think about that. Most people are paying over spot. He got it for $2 under spot. That is a huge spread at the end of the day. If I could pick that up, I would give up Silver Eagles to pay off that at that price. And literally, people are paying huge premiums on Silver Eagles. So there's opportunity there. Odemy. I know I didn't pronounce that right. I don't even know if I've ever even said your name. ODYM. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for that. I do appreciate that. Even good little comments like that help out because it really helps the algorithm if someone just stops and just says good morning. Anything typed, a thumbs up typed out helps the algorithm. Good video, T. Did you see where the Philippines have been selling the most gold? So it's not a coincidence that, yes, I do follow the Philippines a little bit with their gold market. I find it fascinating that people over there are willing to risk their well-being to go out and mine gold. They don't do it legitimately. They just go out in the middle of nowhere and they mine it. And I thought if I ever made it to the Philippines, that would be really fun to go out there and shoot a video and talk about that. Because me talking about precious metals, you guys know eventually I will be going, some of y'all know, at some point I'm going to go to the Philippines. The videos will be extremely different, but I'm still going to be doing some silver. You can't quit talking about precious metals all at once when most, not all, of your subscribers are precious metals people. So it's not like I'm not going to go to a coin shop, talk to people in the Philippines about silver. However, there's going to be a lot of fun videos, probably more where I am out tasting the culture, having fun, the nightlife, the enjoyable times that you can have in the Philippines. Seeing stuff, waterfalls, restaurants, places to eat, just living it up, enjoying some of the fruits of our labor. I mean, we have been putting away, a lot of us, for a while. I have one subscriber that is a good friend of mine. I haven't talked to him in a while. I need to give him a call, actually. He's also a member of the channel twice. He's actually he's got a membership on his phone, and then I think he has a membership on his wife's phone. So he's a good friend of mine. But he has told me, he goes, as you get older, it's going to be harder and harder to do the things you want to do. You have the opportunity now, and if you keep waiting, time is going to catch up with you eventually. And so it does make me push, but it's hard. People think it's easy to just up and go. It's not. Not when you're in a situation like me. And here I am looking at a large apartment building right now in the city with well over, I don't want to say exactly because then people could figure out where it is, but well over a dozen apartments. And I'm like, do I really need that kind of headache in my life? Do I want to cash out a lot of my investments to get something like that. Where do I stand on that? So I don't want to give away too much about it because some people are really smart and they know how to look stuff up. But who knows, and someone's like, that ain't going to de-stress your life, bro. Okay. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate that comment. But yeah, people go crazy over there, but it's their lifestyle. I mean, they make think about this. The average Filipino person makes less than $3 a day, which means if I ever make it over there, I plan on having a $3 fitness coordinator to try to motivate me, probably someone that is in good shape, understands how to work out, how to build muscle, and then I plan on having a $3 a day person to just prepare my food that will get directive from her on what I should be eating. And I want to do a 90-day push. I've actually went hardcore. I had a major event in my life, and it kind of put me in a little bit of a dark place. This was, a few years ago. It was like 5-6 years ago. And I ended up eventually kind of breaking through a little bit, and I started going to the gym. And I signed up first for a morning class. Ironically, it was all girls and one guy. And I am I don't want to be outdone. I am definitely, I push myself, and I definitely don't want to be outdone. I hate to say this. Some people might take offense to this. I don't want to see a girl outwork me. And there were some girls that said, you will never beat me. And, we had to run every day. We had to do a lot of stuff. And I literally would almost drop because I would push myself so much. As it went on and I got stronger and stronger, I was eventually doing 4-hour workouts a day. I did 1 hour in the morning, 3 hours in the evening, mostly female fitness classes and boxing. And I loved it. I got in such good shape, but I was extremely motivated. One downfall for me, obviously, I still ate fast food. I wasn't the best when it came to eating habits. I plan on, if I ever make it to the Philippines, I plan on really hardcore in it. So you'll see fitness videos. You'll still see gold and silver videos. You'll see a lot of cool videos. Okay, Reckless Collections. How's it going? Hope you're having a great day. Good morning, T. Morgan dollars are great. I definitely would like to get some more again. Let me scroll down just a little bit here just so it makes it a little easier to catch this. I started going to a new shop, and last time I was there, milk price was $65, and they were selling them for $60. So it would have been a good deal. I don't see them, but the shop owner said $60 for common date Morgan dollars. Slight out of the bucket. Oh yeah, it was a good deal. But I'm curious to know how beat up they are. Maybe I'll stop by on the way to work today. I'm trying to finish this tube of Mercury dimes. So maybe I'll get some more of them today. Anyways, I'm speculating that silver will dip next week. A lot of people are. And just that thought will cause people to maybe slow down on their purchases, get ready for a big dip as well. So I'm hoping to get some good deals on maples. But if silver gets low enough, I just might get eagles. I picked up one December. Since then, I'm getting buffaloes, maples until the day. Got me a 2026. I don't even, you know what? I need to remember to order my 2026 for my set. I don't even want to get into the premiums, what the premiums was. Let's just say I won't be getting any more 2026s until the hype drops down along with the premium. But yeah, for me, no matter what people say, the Silver Eagle will always be number one. It's funny because Everyone dislikes type 2. Not me. I actually prefer type 2. But in my opinion, they both look awesome. Okay, so let's break this comment down. So $60 you said for Morgans. Usually beat up Morgans. You know, here's the thing. People have to understand a Morgan dollar has been around 100 years. They're naturally not going to be in great shape. When I hear beat up Morgan, I don't instantly think the worst case. $60 is 13 cents above spot at $60. I would think right now you can get them a little cheaper. I actually know someone, he had offered me some at $50 recently, which even at 50 is not super below spot, but 60 to 50 is a pretty good deal. However, those are beat up. What do I mean by beat up? It means, you know, you can read the date maybe, but it's not key dates. It's all scratched up. You can't make out the crowning. You don't make out the hair. You know, it has plenty of wear, plenty of scratches, but it's not the end of the world. You're after the silver. And if I can get silver under spot, that is a good deal in my personal opinion, not financial advice. A lot of people are hoping we will see a dip next week, and there's a strong possibility we could. I kind of wondered if we weren't going to see it yesterday with the Friday the 13th. Maybe see some sort of a massacre on that day. I kind of wondered. I almost did a video on that instead yesterday, but I was like, nah, I'm going to, just talk about what I had already planned. Now, as for the premiums, I don't think are going to get a whole lot cheaper. I hate to say that. 2026, the premiums are really high right now because it's new. It's hyped up right now. People want the new ones. You're not wrong. I do like Silver Eagles, but my go-to item right now is junk silver. Only because I think I'm getting it below spot, whereas if I buy a Eagle, I'm going to pay over spot. Eagles are high premium items. People like them. I like the Type 2 better than the Type 1. Maybe it's because I've seen so many Type 1s in my lifetime. The Type 2, it's refreshing. It's something different. I remember when this wasn't even that long ago. I think it was only like a year ago. I was picking up, might have been a little longer than a year ago. Time really does fly when you think about it. I remember when I was picking up all those spiders. Some of y'all remember I did a couple package openings, the funnel web spiders. And I had made a deal with the gentleman, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'll take 100 if you're willing to give me 50 of them in certified NGC or PCGS Eagles. I don't care what year it is. But here's the thing. Those were only like $40 a piece. Now I still got a fair amount of them. I have thought about trading them in and trying to get junk silver, but I haven't figured out the exact ratio yet that I would take if I took junk silver. An Eagle has more silver than has $1.40 in face value is equal. However, one of them people don't want, and one people are paying a huge markup on that. So I haven't figured out yet how many silver quarters I would take, and these ones are certified, so it would have to be even a little bit more. Some people, though, would have an easier time selling a nice certified Eagle for like $90 easy. Let's just take a look real quick, and I hate to. Let's see. That it's not even certified, and that's 103. That's not even any kind of a clip, and that's a 98. And that says as low as, but that's if you buy 1,500. So technically that's $100. That one is technically $105 because it has the case, which is not an actual case. This is like a low quality NGC case. But as I scrolled down, I was hoping I was going to see one here. And then we're going to go to my favorite site in just a minute. Let's see here. I'm looking for something that says NGC or PCGS. Let's just type it, I guess. NGC. Boom. So, I mean, look, the average, and this is a lot of the type of stuff that I've got. You know, you've got just random, although those don't really look too random when you think about it. They all say they're all the different labels. NGC. I could have hit NGC silver, but I didn't. Let's just scroll through here real quick. Just take a look. Pre-sale 2026. A lot of that stuff is actually well over 100, but scrolling down, I'm looking for random ones. 2025. See, here's the thing: a 2025 NGC, that's 118. I'm looking for randoms. Roman Empire, 20 ancient coins. Oh, that looks pretty cool. My son likes old. I'm talking old. He's got one of Pilus Pompus, I think is his name. Tons of them made, though. Okay, so not really what I was hoping to find. I was hoping to find random eagles. And most of what they have here is 2026. Typically what I see them go for, those $100. Even with spot at 78. So that's a $22 premium. Whereas junk silver, I see it sell dirt cheap, like $10 a quarter. I mean, it is ridiculous right now what's going on that case. I gotta take a look at one more site, two more sites actually. I don't know, one more site. Okay, let's just see what a NGC here goes for. This one, that's gonna be a bad example because that is the new Privy Mark Navy. I kind of want to get one of them because I am Navy, but doesn't say. I was hoping I would find random silver NGC certified. Let's drop here real quick. Boom, boom. Random certified silver eagles. Probably would be this. Due to high demand, processing delays. Oh, that's cool. 2023 American Eagle. Forbes. Oh, wow. I kind of want one of them. That'd be cool to have Forbes. Steve Forbes actually signed them. Shoot. I need to call Chris, see what he can get me one of those for. Oh, it's out of stock. He may not even be able to get them. It'd be cool to get one signed by Steve Forbes. I never seen that. Not really seeing any right now certified like I was hoping. What did they have over here? See, yeah, these aren't in capsules. I kind of wanted NGC. I used to see random NGCs on different sites, but I don't see it as much now. Probably because they can get the $100 easy for a Silver Eagle. Nothing here says NGC. Okay, so that would have been there if they had it. I guess they don't have the random ones. Jumping back over to the comments, since I got off on a tangent on that one, I apologize. That's one of the ways these weekend videos, that's why they go so long. I kind of get off sometimes and just talk about stuff. We'll see. Hopefully we'll see a dip next week where it will be opportunity. But here's the thing. With dips come people not wanting to sell. Just like with a price climb too high, comes with people that don't want to buy. I was talking to one member and subscriber of the channel today, and he was saying, no, you look what happened. Silver got up to 122 and inventory just kept climbing. Nobody wanted to buy. They beat the price down to nothing, and then instantly the rich people go in and buy up the inventory. It was bought up in a flash. And a lot of people don't want to sell at cheaper prices, so that could be the people that had something were pulling it. I mean, I would never sell at, $65, but we'll see how this is going to play out. It's going to be interesting. Eagles, I mean, I won't say the number one pick, but a lot of people do like them, especially here in the United States. So great comments. I know that was a long comment. I just talked a little too much on that. Definitely keep your eyes open. Look for deals. Anything that you're putting away is probably going to be worth a lot more down the road, but not financial advice. Everything I say on here is just my opinion. Altazor, let's see. I got an idea. If you need to sell a lot, go to Asia with a bunch of junk silver because you can legally travel with $10,000 face value, and you can probably get a premium because there is a refining, because their refining is so much better than ours, and you get a premium. See you in the Philippines one day. I can't wait. That's one of the things I want to go there and look at. I wouldn't bring it on the first trip, but I have said that I would definitely bring some pennies, and I'll tell you why. In the Philippines, it takes 60 U.S. pesos to equal $1 US. I literally see random pennies. I pulled up a coin shop in Manila, started scrolling around. A lot of people like to collect pennies, U.S. pennies, over there. And I see the pennies selling in the city for like literally 40 pesos. So I did some math and I was like, man, that's almost like 40 pesos is like 66 cents. Can you imagine bringing some random pennies with you in your bag, a few rolls even, and all of a sudden you're getting 66 cents per penny? Think about that for a minute. Real quick, I'm going to clear this out. They're paying 40 pesos for a penny. Let's just say you were to bring one box of pennies. That's $25. And you bring it, sealed rolls, 50 rolls of pennies. You throw it in your bag. I don't think that's enough that it would, but I don't know. I would have to look that up. There is a limit on how much coinage you can bring to another country. There are limits because people were taking too much silver out of the country when silver first spiked. And so they put a lot of limits on copper, how much copper coinage, that type of stuff. But $25 in pennies I don't think is crazy for say. I mean, you are a little nuts if you're doing it, but that's just because people don't understand what's going on. However, you multiply that many pennies by 40 pesos. So we're going to say by 40 equals 100,000. Now you divide that by 60 pesos to get $1, essentially. But right there, that's a lot of pesos for that. But if you want to see what the conversion rate is, divide that by the 60 again. Now you turned $1 into essentially $1,500. I'm sorry, you turned $25 into essentially $1,500 if I did the math right. I don't think it will be that extreme, but think about that. I mean, $25 is nothing. If you can throw a box of pennies in your duffel bag, unsearched, not all brand new, because these people are looking for pennies of different years. They're building up sets. If you look at the coin shops over there, I'm sure people have thought of this. The only way they get pennies in the U.S. pennies in the Philippines is because someone traveling over there happened to have a few in his duffel bag, a handful of them, which means there's not many of them. Which means the people that actually collect them are probably willing to splurge a little bit more to get it. These people that are going to these coin shops and buying them, they are people that run businesses. I mean, maybe somebody, a pit boss at a casino, maybe a random restaurant manager. You see what I'm saying? It's just a matter of finding coin collectors. If you know how to build up a network, I have built up a big network in my area. That's why I said a lot of people do know me. If you know how to build a network, you can figure all this out. You go over there, you start building up a small network. You're over there on vacation, boom. You know, people, oh, well, I'm looking for this year. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm flying back to the U.S. to take care of some stuff, and then I'll be back in like a month. I'll find it for you. Maybe they're looking for some specific years to finish their set. They would love you. Maybe you're going to be lucky enough and find some pit boss or something at a casino that's looking for key years of pennies. And he's like, heck yeah, if you can hook me up, I'll hook you up with a free room for the weekend. I mean, now you're talking. I mean, a lot of rooms go unrented everywhere. you know, so who knows. Moving on to the next comment. But yes, that thought has crossed my mind, but I would have to see ahead of time what the silver is going for in smaller countries like the Philippines or other places. Chris Tribble, how's it going? Good video. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Chris. Let's see. Like I said, even little comments really help out the algorithm. Okay. Thanks, Tsquare. Just as fast as, how long is this? Let's see here. Just as fast as I re-entered gold and silver, I am done with it. Short 4 coins of gold. Buffaloes ran, and 14 short of American Gold Eagles ran this time. I have 100 others I should have been happy with. I wasted a ton of sound money and silver this past year on silver and not enough on gold. Silver is so heavy and it takes up way too much room. I should have listened to my gut instead of Tsquare. LOL. 20 years of stacking gold and very little silver until I realized that I can't sell it anytime in the last month. If not, when it's at an all-time high popularity level, and when just another scam. Start the melt and save your real cash money. You can't time the market. You can't outsmart the crooks. The crooked, actually it's not crooks, the crooked F's involved with it. I'll give it all away before I pass away. And then someone replied to it and said, weak hands get shaken out, but to each their own. You should do whatever you want, but silver is the next best investment behind investing in yourself as in a business. So yeah, investing in yourself is probably the top thing in my opinion too, because those are skills that you're going to have with you forever. So I'm going to just answer that reply first. Next, I don't know, when I look at last year's gains on silver versus gold, let's put this in another perspective. I'm going to spend a little time on this one. I know some people won't like this. Last year in gold, let's just do this. Last year in gold, we started at 2,890. I wish I knew the exact percentage. That was what, 2025? Hold on a minute. Let's see if I can do this easier. What was the percentage increase on gold in 2025? Oh yeah, it's going to make it easy. What was the percentage increase on silver in 2025? I don't need to know all the math. I just want to see the number, although I know about what it should have been. No. What was the 2025% increase on silver? Yep, that's accurate. 44. That's what I thought it was, 144. Okay. So, let's just say hypothetically, clear, because you said you can't sell silver at the all-time high. Let's just put that to the test real quick. Somebody had $10,000. Boom. One guy bought gold. He did 65% times 1.65 equals $16,500. Keep in mind, for you to say silver was a bad investment because you can't sell it at an all-time high, you're also taking into account, or you're not taking into account, that the gains on it were obscenely higher. So remember this number for a quick minute. I wish I could open two calculators so you could keep it here. But remember that. $6,500 you would have made on $10,000 in gold last year. Clear. Now we're going to do $10,000 in silver. Multiply that by 144%. I'm taking the lower number because technically I thought it was 144, but it says 144 to 147. When I did the math myself, from start of the year based on one of my videos to close of the year based on one of my videos, I got 144. And I want to be as fair as possible. Times that by 144%. This is an old calculator, so I have to do it a little different. I have to times it by 2.45 because it uses the old algorithm on the computer. Equals $2,400. Now, if you really wanted to unload your silver, if you really regretted buying silver over gold, you could easily sell $24,500 in silver today, easily, for $16,500. I don't care who you are. You could easily sell it for that. You could be the laziest. I know you're not. I know you're not. I'm just saying somebody could be the laziest person out there and just say, I'm just going to go to the pawn shop and see what they'll give me. And I'm convinced that you could get $16,500. They will see the potential on this. So here's the thing. Someone wanting to sell it at top dollar, yeah, they might have had a hard time selling it at the high. But also keep in mind, it's even higher today because we ended at $72, 144%. $72 today, it's now $77. It's up $5 in 1.5 months. 45 days as of right now shooting this video. Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. We are February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, you would have no trouble selling it right now for that price. In fact, I know so many people that got angry at some of my friends because they refused to sell silver at $65, $75 or $77, including myself. There's a couple people I asked a couple of my friends. I said, hey, you're selling silver still? No. I said, why? You don't want to sell it when it's high. You don't want to sell it when it's low, but you want to sell it when it's high. But here's the thing. You would not have a hard time, I don't believe, right now selling silver. If you're asking $77 for silver, you're not going to have a hard time selling it. And the thing is, people don't want 77 because people get greedy, which is understandable when you see prices like this. Oh, a 1 ounce silver eagle is selling on AppMax for, what did I say it was? $104. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Peace dollars, 79. I'm looking for a random 1 ounce round. But people aren't willing. People aren't really willing to let it go. Oh, there you go. There's some whatever 1 ounce silver round, secondary market, beat up stuff, cheapest stuff. That's not bad actually. $82, but $82. So when people see these higher numbers like 89 and stuff, everybody wants 89. Everybody wants it for their $89. They're not willing to take spot price at 77. Why 89? Why 89? Think about that for a quick minute. Maybe that 89 is based because Shanghai is saying it's at 87, essentially 86.74. So if Shanghai is willing to buy it for $87 roughly, people aren't willing to sell it here in the United States for that. So when I read a comment like that, I don't think you're being 100% fair, Mike. But hey, I don't want to say this in a negative way. Everybody can make their own opinions on what they like better. I will give you, it definitely takes up a lot of space. Silver will take up more space than gold. Obviously, you need a lot of room, and some of y'all, I'm sure, are sitting on big stacks. So that's my thoughts on that. But I don't regret my decision. In fact, I wish I could find some, I'm just going to say, sucker out there that would give me right now 65.16 ounces of silver for every ounce of gold that I have. I would probably gladly take that. I might ask 66, but I don't even know if I would do that, because I think it's easier to sell silver than it is gold. And yes, I know the refineries right now are eating up gold. I understand that. Gold is doing a great job holding its own, but we know there's a lot of manipulation. There's obviously manipulation because the inventories are running out. And you are right in your comment of the same crooked Fs have been doing this forever, and they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep doing it until they can't. Just like I said, a Nike store runs out of Nikes, people realize the Nike store's pricing is a mistake. I mean, look at gas. Have you ever seen gas? I don't know if you guys have ever seen this happen. I've seen this, where they made a mistake, and instead of $1.99 gas, they accidentally wrote 99 gas. They forgot a digit. That gas station was wiped out at the auto pay. The fact that nobody stopped the pumps until they ran out, it just goes to show employees don't care, in my opinion. If you've got a line down the street, you should realize something is wrong. You know, but who knows? We'll find out something is wrong, because there is a line on silver right now. Something is wrong, and when it runs out, then the truth will be out, and people will have missed out, and then people are going to be saying, oh man, I wish I had not been buying gold. But we'll see what happens. I know one person right now, I haven't seen his comment, I don't even know if he still watches my videos. He traded 500 ounces of silver for 5 ounces of gold. And I told him, I wished I knew you. I would have jumped on that in a minute if you were closer to me. I don't know. I haven't seen his comment in forever, so maybe he doesn't like me anymore. Some people do fall away. I don't know. I haven't seen his comments in forever, so I don't know. Because I used to actually chit-chat with him in emails all the time. I used to love talking to him. But great comment. It's an opinion. Okay, next one. Ben. The garbage paper market's dragging the spot price down. Luckily for us, silver is on sale this weekend. Woohoo! Absolutely, Ben. It's a great opportunity. I'm stacking. I like it. I wasn't buying at 122. I'll definitely pick up stuff if I can get it close to spot right now. And if I can pick up junk silver under spot, I'm picking it up. But here, you know, some people, they want full spot because they understand the price has been beat down. I'm not going to pay $14 for a Washington quarter right now. Why? Because the spot price down. Do I think they'll be back up to $20 before you know it? Yep. But I don't go by tomorrow. I'm not buying stuff today for tomorrow's prices. I want stuff today for today's prices. I want to make the profits, not somebody give the profits to somebody else. And it is a great buying opportunity right now, I think. Next comment, photography. Thank you so much. It just says, thanks, T. Thank you so much for that comment. And just little comments like that help out. I do appreciate it. Okay, Wes Stefan. I caught the dip at the very bottom yesterday, and guess what? It didn't matter. None of the online sellers or eBay sellers lowered their prices to reflect the lower spot price. So I bought nothing. But you haven't lost anything unless you sell. So that was the reply, but you haven't lost anything since you sell. Okay, so yeah, I mean, online dealers aren't going to give their silver away for free. It's going to take a while. We have seen premiums come down some, but it takes time for them to get caught up. They've got to get new inventory at cheaper prices before they can dollar cost average a lower premium. First ones to do that, obviously, are going to steal a lot of market share. I'll give you an example. If I was sitting on a bunch of silver that I paid $100, I'm going to want my 100. Even if I only sell one or two at a time, and I will take that money and then rotate it in at a lower spot price when I could pick up silver at, $80. Okay, now I can bring my overall down to 91, 92, a little bit over my average, and just kind of keep this game going. And you're absolutely right. If you haven't, someone else said, but if you haven't lost anything unless you sell. I'm not selling. I totally agree with that. Until you sell, you don't lose money. They're not going to sell, at a loss. Most dealers online, but we'll see. Let's see. Despair, I meant. Okay. Oh, okay. So that was actually a double comment. Okay, don't despair. Good things will happen. Absolutely. And then the next comment said, despair. I meant, hang on. Hang in there, T. Philippine dreams come true. Oh, that's what I'm hoping. See, that's the thing. I reply to so many comments, and I don't keep secrets from y'all. So people know, a lot of y'all know everything about me. You know my dreams. You know my goals. You know my lack of love life. You know my gardening, prepping. I tell y'all everything. Even my health, where I was going through crazy diabetes stuff. I was up to 589. I'm now running just under 200 when I checked this morning. I checked this morning and I was actually running, actually I shouldn't say just under. This morning when I checked it, I was at 200 flat, I think, which is high still, but it's lower than 5, so who knows? I know someone will say, that's awful still. I can't up my medicine, and she wants me to keep on my medicine where I'm at for 90 days, and then she will recheck it, and then she will up the dosage if she thinks I need it. We'll see what happens. Morning, T. I tried to hype, but it said I already hyped 3 times this week. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, you can only hype 3 hypes a week. And if you use them somewhere else, you can't use them on here. So if you are the type that uses at least one of your hypes on me, I greatly appreciate it. But not everybody gets the hypes. So who knows? I thank you if you're willing to accept me as one of your top 3 channels and give me one of them. That goes for anybody. Let's see. I don't know. There was a limit to how many hyping one can do, but apparently there is. Have a great weekend. Yeah, you can only have 3 hypes over a 1-week time period. That's the limit. But thank you so much. I appreciate that, Dr. K. Let's see. Michael. It's putting in an upside down head and shoulder pattern. Just wait for it. Absolutely. We're going to see what happens. I'm not at all worried about it. I'm excited about it. In fact, I really think we're going to see a big run up after the delivery date. We'll see what happens. Really, we'll see a big jump probably right after the Chinese come back from their week off. However, how low will they beat it down before then? We'll see. If you ever have to sell some silver down the road, who do I call? A dealer? Question mark. How do taxes work? Question mark. Will they pay cash and not want to pay out $10K in cash because of tax purposes? If I can't prove how much I paid for it, will that be a problem? I have some different prices online. I really have no idea overall price paid. Thank you. Okay, so There's a lot of questions there. The first thing, I am legally obligated, or I try to be bound by, just so someone don't take this the wrong way, consult your tax professional, CPA. I recommend having a good CPA. Second, no, they will not pay you cash. Most places are not going to pay you cash. There are people out there that will buy it off you on Facebook or something, and they'll meet up with you. They're probably not going to meet up with you and buy 10 grand worth. But I personally can't understand why anybody would want to sell that much in one time. Everything I say for any of these comments is just my opinion. So I personally don't understand why anybody would want to sell everything at one time. However, I understand some people have to sell sometimes. Stuff comes up. And no, they're not going to pay you cash generally. So breaking this comment down one at a time, who do I call a dealer? There's a lot of places you could go to. You could go to a pawn shop, which they will probably take advantage of you. You can call a coin shop. They will probably pay you $2 under spot, maybe, from a coin shop. If you bought from that coin shop and you have a good reputation with them, they will probably take better care of you. How do taxes work? Technically, to my knowledge, but I have a professional CPA that handles everything from my real estate to all my issues. But to my knowledge, any item that you buy, you are legally obligated, if you sell it and make a profit, to pay taxes. It doesn't make it right, but it does make it technically the tax law. You are supposed to pay capital gains taxes. Will they pay cash? No, because there was a couple other comments here that go back more into the tax stuff. Pay cash? No. 10 grand. So just because someone does not report it does not mean that you don't have to report it. I'm gonna specify that. I've had people say, no, somebody sold 5 grand worth of silver on eBay and it went through and they sold it and I didn't have any kind of, okay. They don't have to fill out a form, to my knowledge, if it doesn't exceed $10,000. If you exceed $10,000 in cash on any transaction, they are legally obligated, supposed to fill out a suspicious activity report. Just a report. Somebody bought something off me. It was I paid them $10,000, or they paid $10,000 cash, or I paid them $10,000. They're not going to pay you $10,000 in cash, though. Are there people out there that will? I mean, there might be. I shouldn't say there might be. I'm sure there are people out there that are crooked. It's not a question of right or wrong. It's a question of there are people out there. That's a no-brainer. There are people out there that probably will. If I can't prove how much I paid for it, will that be a problem? So there's a couple things. I'll be honest. In my personal opinion, yes. You have to prove how much you paid for something if you are taking a fat check, and they're going to see. Reason I know that, I actually sold a large amount of stock, deposited it into my account. They zapped the money into my account when I sold it, and I forgot to submit that to my CPA. Not deliberately. It was a mistake. It was one transaction. I did it quick. I saw a huge drop in the stock market. I saw it as a buying opportunity. This was in 2008, and I ended up maxing out my credit card. We're not going to get into the semantics of gambling. Is it gambling? Yes. Have people said that's not good? Yes. I mean, but I was willing to gamble it. It was interest-free for a year. I didn't worry about it. Me personally, at the time, I was willing to gamble. I maxed out my credit card. I bought it. And then I waited. Within 2 months, it had pretty much rebounded a large portion, not all, of what it had dropped. I made a very sizable profit. I sold it all. I paid the credit card back, 0% interest. Everything else was profit. deposited it, forgot to turn in the sheet, and lo and behold, maybe a year later, we got this statement from a stockbroker. It was like a W-2, but they don't call it a W-2. It has another name for it, for investments. And they said, I said, do I have a problem? Yeah, you owe us this much money. And I was like, can I ask how? And they go, well, let me ask you this first. How did you get it? I said, I bought it. And how did you buy it? I said, I maxed out my credit card and bought it. And they said, can you prove that? I said, yes. And they said, okay, send us the documentation of the purchase and a copy of the credit card statement. And so I did. And they said, okay, so you got the money legitly, even though it's stupid. That's not their problem. They don't care about that. You got the money legitimately. You borrowed it, even though it was a weird way of borrowing it. And you bought it for this and you sold it for that. You made this much profit. You didn't report it. You should have reported it. You should have paid us this much money. You owe us this much money plus interest for the 1 year. Comes out to this much money. That's what you owe us. Not as bad because they had it as a zero. I had to pay it and that was it. If I didn't have any of that information, they were going to base it off of a zero cost average. With that being said, a lot of people will just sell 1 ounce at a time. Now, legally, do you have to file if you sell 1 ounce on YouTube, on Facebook, on something? I don't know. I mean, technically, anything, the law states anything you make money, you're supposed to pay taxes on. I think, though, it might have to exceed $600 overall for the year, but I could be wrong on that. Consult a tax professional on that. But keep in mind, you said I have it from different places online. I can go back from any online dealer and hunt down those receipts. Even as long as the dealer is still open. If I ever bought something on eBay, I can see what I bought it for. If I ever bought something from AppMax, Provident, Universal, any of them places, I can go online, log in, or contact them and get that receipt. Would there be a fee associated with it? Yeah, they might say set up an online account and do it yourself, print it out yourself. If we've got to send it to you, we might charge you $1 a page. Who knows? I don't know what they would do, but so yeah, the easiest way is just go online, set up an account, and find the receipts. And the best way would be sell that stuff that you can prove first if you needed a little bit of money. That would be my personal opinion. No idea on the overall price. You don't go by overall price. If you bought 100 ounces at $20, you could sell those 100 ounces if you have a receipt for it. If you bought 100 ounces at, let's just say for a quick minute for easy math, because this is what I would do, I think. But I would have to consult my tax professional. Let's just say you bought 100 ounces at $20 and you bought 100 ounces at $120. You had receipts for both of them. I would sell 200 ounces. I would submit my receipt for $120 along with my receipt for the $20, and that would give me an average of $77.32. And ultimately, anything that I don't sell when I pass away can go to my son, and his dollar cost average is whatever it is when he inherits it. So if I knock on wood, I don't even know if I should do this because this ain't wood. I think it's like, I don't know, particle board or something. But let's just say hypothetically I passed away today. $77 locked in. He could get my collection appraised, and his new dollar cost average is whatever that is at the time of his inheritance. I believe he has 60 days to do it, but I would definitely get that collection if I was him appraised on a time that we are nowhere near a delivery. This would be the wrong time to do it. I would wait a month, in my opinion. Not near delivery, because I believe the price is dipped right now because of different factors that we've already talked about on the channel. And all of that I'm not 100% sure on, so you got to consult a professional. But to my knowledge, that's about how it works. Hopefully that helped, Joe. I know that's, tax stuff always gets complicated for people. Who knows? Down the road, we could see something happen where they just say, you know what? That's real money. Donate it to, well, no, let me reword that. Don't donate it. Down the road, they could end up saying, for me here in Texas, submit your gold to the Texas Depository, and we are going to hold your gold and silver. We will allow you to borrow against it, and that's it. And then the money, it's always mine. I just borrow against it, maybe pay a little bit of a small interest. Some people might say, oh, well, you shouldn't have to pay interest if you're borrowing against your gold and your silver. But the thing is, it's still your gold and silver, which means as it goes up in value, you are the one making the value. And as long as your interest is lower than the inflation increase price of the gold, then the fact shouldn't matter that you're borrowing money against it. I think we will get to that point, and they would love it if people would just donate their or put their stacks in their depository, and give you fiat dollars. So who knows? We'll see. Let's see. I looked into Clean Energy, I think it's called, is how you pronounce that. I looked into that trade of Eagles for junk. My local coin shop did the math. I'd gain 30% of an ounce for free. So that's really good, because I had someone ask me my thoughts. So I would probably give up my Eagles for 30% more junk silver. At the end of the day, junk silver may not be popular now, but if they default, people are going to flood into silver, in my opinion. If I sold them 5 Eagles and got junk, you would gain 30% more silver. So we're going to do some math here real quick. Not really worth it in my opinion, but I still have piles of junk silver after trading a lot of gold last month. Wow, you traded gold for junk silver. I believe that was a good play, but some people will disagree with that. Hopefully you took smaller stuff like dimes, quarters. I prefer dimes personally if I can get them, but if I didn't have any junk, I would do it. So I have some junk, but I still have thought about doing it because 30% more. Now, what I want you to think about, let's just say you have 10 Eagles, and you're willing to take junk silver dimes. So 10 times 14. 10 Eagles would get you 140 dimes, but you said 30% increase times 1.3. You would get 182 dimes for 10 Eagles. I would definitely be tempted to do that. Not giving up certified Eagles, of course, because I have a bunch of those, but definitely just a tube of Eagles. Think about it. Clear, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. We're going to multiply. I did 10. We're going to multiply that by 2 to get a full tube times 2. So if you traded a tube of Eagles right now, you would get 364 dimes, with a roll of dimes being... You just think how many dimes are in there. They're $5 a roll of dimes. So that's 50. That's essentially over 7 rolls of dimes for 20 Eagles. I would rather have the 7 rolls of dimes for a couple different reasons. You would get more silver. Down the road, I believe it won't matter. Having silver will be the key. Very few people have 7 rolls of dimes. That's silver dimes. If you've been stacking for a while, yeah, I understand. Some of y'all started stacking at junk silver, and then you've worked up to rounds, and then you worked into Eagles, and now a lot of you are, I'm going to say, prima donnas. You like Eagles. There's nothing wrong with that. You've got it. You've got it. I mean, you've got the taste. I think at a certain point, they will be more than happy to buy junk silver at spot. And if maybe the refineries won't write off, But everyday people will, especially when they can't get silver. Look at how silver is drying up right now. You might think it's not, but it is, in my opinion. People are hoarding it. And you'll see more as time goes on. I believe that junk silver will continue to rise in price, just like it always has been. I know some people are like, dude, no one would ever pay $6 for a dime or whatever it costs, $5.50. People pay it all the time. But people got to learn that, learn that the hard way. 30% more silver, I would definitely be interested in that, I think. Especially if they're dimes, because dimes are awesome. Quarters, there's a lot of quarters out there. I probably wouldn't do it with half. I wouldn't even consider it with $half. Although technically, would I rather have $3.50? 4? It might be 4. I don't know. Let's see, 14 plus 30% would be about another 4, so it wouldn't quite be 4. I would probably consider, though, $4.50 for an ounce, but who knows? I'd have to do some math on that one too. But that's a great comment. I really like that because you did the work for me, and you actually found a dealer and asked them what they thought of that. And I understand you saying it's not really worth it in your opinion. I'm after ounce count. I believe when silver gets so high, just like it was up to $122, I seen people selling Eagles for $122. They were more than happy to dump their Eagles at $122. And yes, Eagles were the first thing. If someone said, hey, I got a tube of Eagles, I've got a tube of generic rounds, they're both asking $122 per coin, I'm going to take the Eagles. It's a no-brainer. If you're paying a high price, sometimes they waive that premium. I also believe that a time will come where junk silver will easily fetch spot price. Let's see, Dan. Hey, T. Thanks for all your great videos and good content. I'm a small silver stacker, only a few hundred ounces, and a good bunch of 90% silver. I'm a big fan of 90%, and I have been for years. Yeah, 90% is a very popular item. That's why I like it. It's just popular amongst small stackers. Large stackers, some of us have been spoiled into buying nicer and nicer stuff. But here's the thing. We were buying it when you could buy, I remember when I could buy a silver round on a holiday weekend where they 0% premium. That's right, 0% premium, holiday weekend. Specifically 4th of July weekend, 0% premiums. Or I could buy an Eagle for $1 over spot. Well, yeah, some of us bought Eagles. $1 is not that big of a deal. Now the premiums are not $1, but the silver price is not $15 anymore either. So, the premiums went up, and just like you gained maybe 4x on your silver, well, you might have gained 4x on your premiums. So who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, I like 90%. Who knows? How's it going? Very interesting, as always. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that comment. I do appreciate that. Next one. Martinez. That's what I'm going to buy. Junk silver. I believe junk silver is one of the best opportunities right now, only because it's cheap. It's cheap. I would be curious to know. Let me look at one comment real quick, Martinez. Since you said you went to this thing down the road, who I call the dealer, text where pay cash. Where did that comment go? I want to see that comment one more time. I looked into the trade for Eagles junk. My local coin shop did the math. I'd gain 30% an ounce for free if I sold them 5 Eagles and bought junk. Oh, so here is one thing to consider, though, about that. I'm backing up to that comment again because it popped into my head. I have seen some dealers that are selling, let's say they're selling junk silver at 30% under spot. And then they say, oh, but we'll buy the Eagles for whatever, spot price. If that's the case, you would be better off just not buying more Eagles and shifting all your attention to there. There are some situations, because I've seen this happen, where somebody wanted to trade gold for silver, and they said, okay, I will buy your gold for 5% under spot. and then they let them use that money to spend at the shop on whatever. It's easy to make that mistake. Now, I'm not going to sell something for 5% under spot generally. I would have to really need the cash to sell for 5% under spot, especially an ounce of gold. But it doesn't mean you can't go find your own buyer for the gold, or for the Eagles in this case, and then use that cash to buy junk silver. Because I personally have seen junk silver selling for 25% under spot, which means maybe you were making 5% over on the Eagles, which 5% over at $70 would come out 70 nickels, which would be about $2 over spot. So I guess that sounds pretty fair, because $2 over spot selling your silver, if someone was buying Eagles off of you at $79, that's not unreasonable in my opinion. I've seen some people go pretty low on those. So, yeah, that's definitely a good comment on that. I would be curious. That sounds like a pretty straight-up shop. I would definitely go there and look into that shop. Let's see. Martinez, back to your comment. I'm so sorry. I got distracted a little bit there because I started thinking of something in my head about that deal. Good morning to you, and great day to buy silver. Guess what's going to do today? I'm going to buy silver. Buy the dip. Absolutely. I think a lot of people are buying the dip right now. And guess what? You got the whole weekend to buy it. That's even better. A lot of places are, open Saturday, and you'll have opportunity to pick stuff up. So, good deal there. Okay, funny. Yesterday I left a comment. I thought silver was coming down some. Then, a couple hours later, it dropped. Once it stagnated for a couple of days, it felt obvious. The bankers are in full control still. I'm waiting for under $60 to buy more. Stacking cash. We'll see. I'm sorry. Hold on a minute. I thought I heard music outside my house. I mean, here it is at 1:50 in the morning. Someone's playing music. I do think they will get it under 60. We also haven't seen the stocks take the hits they are going to take. And why is the government lying about job numbers, making them look better? The Fed won't cut, and Trump wants 1% rates. But as we learn, the entire Trump team only cares about how high the stock market is. I think they think that that is the economy. So I think at this point, the Trump team does not. Oh, they're coyotes. That's what it is. I'm hearing coyotes off in the woods. They always sound creepy. How many of y'all have ever heard coyotes in the middle of the night? It is so crazy how they sound when they get in them packs. Yeah, I think the Trump team realizes soon Kevin Walsh will probably be in. They'll have a new Fed chair. Who cares at this point? They're not going to bend over until we just get a new thing. By the time we get a new Fed chair, I don't think things are going to be as good as they are making it sound to be, but they will definitely play that card for as long as they can. Why are they lying about the numbers? So they can look good. It stings, I know, and yes, I believe the stock market will eventually take a big hit, and it will be quick. It will be like 2008, in 3, 4, 5 years, it will come back. And I probably shouldn't say quick, because 3, 4, 5 years is not quick. But it will take the hit. So I believe it will too, and it will be painful. I don't necessarily believe we're going to go into like a 50-year or 20-year collapse. I believe we will continue to go down. I believe it will be a slow down, and we'll see what happens. They're going to be battling every which way in the coming months. So let's see. What's too much silver compared to gold? I agree. Silver is a better buy, but damn, I have almost no gold. To each their own, somebody said. I only buy physical silver due to the supply and demand only. No need for fancy charts or technical analysis to tell me the obvious. 1 ounce of silver is about right for every 100 ounces of gold. I'm gonna have to hunt this person now in terms of your original comments, because I remember your comments from years ago. Been a while since I've seen that picture, but we will see. Can I do it from here? I'm looking to see if I have the option from here, but I don't. When I say hunt, I wanted to. Oh shoot, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Oh yeah, that worked. That was it. Because I know you've been on the channel for a while. Posts. Nope. I was trying to find your original comments, bro. I think. What is too much? I mean, everybody's going to have, I do agree, to each their own. Everybody's going to have their own opinion on what is too much. But I would agree with that reply almost verbatim. I buy silver because it's severely undervalued, and the supply and demand says everything. You have a metal that has extremely high premiums, but yet it's still selling. If it wasn't selling, companies would be going under already. But people are paying the $10 premium online, which means the demand is still there. So for someone to say that that's not the case is beyond me. I don't need a fancy chart either or a technical analyst to tell me the obvious that silver supply and demand, it's extremely, I mean, we're running a 5-year deficit. We are seeing the supply dwindle. We are now under 100 million ounces for the first time ever in the COMEX. We'll see what happens in the upcoming month or two. They may get away this up one. A lot of people are saying, no, they have 100 million ounces physical, and they're owed, what, 400 million? A lot of people will take cash. They don't care. They don't really care about the physical. We'll see, though. Me personally, I think mainstream. Why? Do you think, and I got to say this is to anybody that thinks gold is a better option. Do you think mainstream media is on your side? Do you think mainstream media wants to see you make a good investment and make a lot of money? No. Mainstream media is controlled by a handful of families. With that being said, the majority of media preach the same narrative. With that being said, what is the narrative telling you right now? When you look at Squawk Box Money or any of these media networks, they're all telling you gold is the better option. I don't think mainstream media cares about any of us. And so if they're saying that, then that I question. And the reason I say that, look at what mainstream media said. Squawk Box, Mad Money. Mad Money came out and said just before Bear Stearns, oh, Bear Stearns looks great. You should be buying it, holding it. It's a great investment. Oh, it collapsed a week later. Oh, Silicon Valley Bank's never been better. It's a great investment. I don't know what people are talking about. They're wrong. It collapsed a week later. I get such a kick out of some of these people. And when they say it, my ears perk up. If they come out and say tomorrow, buy silver, it's going to cause a gut feeling that I'm not going to like that day. Don't be fooled. Thank you so much for that little emoji. I do appreciate that. Tesla rules. Yeah, best I saw was $86 for an Eagle or a Maple. But many still want $90 plus. The dealers don't care about what the fake spot price says. When there are shortages, there's high demand. And the shortages are coming. Dealers don't care. I wouldn't care. That's it. It just is what it is. Let's see. Walks with one. Thursday was down for all the markets. Stock market took paints down. beaten, pants down beaten. We'll see what happens today. Hopefully it won't spike up. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't spike up. I'd rather see it stay low on the weekend so people have the opportunity to pick up. You guys have an opportunity. The window's closing. Either you get in or you don't. And that's not financial advice, just my opinion. David, next week may be the last time the bankers try to beat down the price. But after February, the real fireworks will start. People have no idea what is coming. My wife thought my silver was junk, so she donated it to Goodwill. I am devastated. Everybody's losing it. Some people losing it into a boating accident. Some people just accidentally donated it. It happens. I actually one day was cleaning, and I was emptying my trash, and I actually found an ounce of silver in my trash. How that happened is beyond me. I mean, I have an idea. I had put a bunch of stuff. I just picked up some stuff. I put it on my desk. Hadn't taken it out yet. And one coin slid off and fell in the trash can next to my desk. There was no trash bag in there. I go and dump it, and as I'm shaking it out, I seen it. That was pretty devastating. Not devastating because I found it, but devastating because I was like, oh my word, I must have lost an ounce of silver like that. That would have been crazy. What is up, hot-headed? And yeah, back to that other comment real quick. Yeah, I think next week will be the last week that we have golden opportunities like this or silver opportunities to pick up. They will probably try to beat the price down next week and scare people out. It doesn't scare anybody. It just causes people to spend more money on it. Hot-headed, you're happy about where silver is? That was a dip. It was another crash. I'm guessing that meant that was not a dip. Maybe it was. That was a dip. It was another crash. It went down 10% in 30 minutes. This is not good at all. Warning. Do not back the truck up. Not now. The COMEX will not default. There are safety measures in place to prevent that. I wish you had put what safety measures. Hothead, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they may not default, but I'm still happy with my investment. If the price does go lower, 65, I would love to pick up a bunch more, but we'll see what happens. I can never find comments when I need them. I'd like to find this comment in a month from now, but I won't be able to find it. I'll forget all about what video it was on. Let's see, Robert. Good morning, T. Thank you so much. We are almost at the end. Let's see here. JM Spurger, how's it going, Spurger? Hope you're having a great day. Let's see. I can only speak on my experiences here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but American Silver Eagles are the only hope of selling your silver to a local coin shop for spot. Anything else is sickeningly under. Yeah, if you have to sell, American Silver Eagles are what people are after. But I'm not trying to sell. I will slow down on buying if I need money or I see a money crunch coming. But that's about it. Yeah, that's how it worked for years. The trends change fast now. We went from a seller's market all December to in January. I could get MS70 Eagles from my local coin shop for spot price plus $1. Now it's spot price plus $11. The price makes a difference. It does. I mean, not a lot of people want to buy silver over 100 when they remember 15 and 20. However, right now, a lot of people remember 122 and they're buying it up at this low. Soon, we're going to push back up to whatever, 100, 200, and people are going to look back and say, I remember when it was $70. I remember when it was $80. Remember when silver was $75? Now we're paying $200. That's the conversation. Yeah, it's 3 times the price now. Yeah, but everything else has gone up 3 times the price. So that's going to be the conversations that a lot of you hear next year. Let's see. I got as many as I could during the sweet time period. Yeah, there was opportunity there. Crooked efforts everywhere. Somebody commented that. Crooked efforts everywhere. Yeah, who knows? It's an opinion. I like picking up the deals when I can. I think silver is still a deal right now. Morning tea and everyone. Welcome all the new members. Unknown, thank you so much. Let's see. Silver Solutions. Good morning, Tsquare crew. They attacked the paper again, and honestly, I feel like it failed. Some resistance, clearly, as the Shanghai and Mumbai went up and not down. We have an issue in the West. Yep. And, it's not going to end tomorrow. It's going to take time. If they default, that's the end, though. That's the end game. But we'll see. Some people say it won't happen. I believe it will. Or I believe something major will happen. Good morning, T. Great video. The lower it goes, the more I buy. You and me both, buddy. A lot of people want to buy at the lower price if they can. We are seeing the final comments of this episode. Metal Suns, good morning, T. Happy Friday. Here's a hypothetical question / scenario. Since silver is in a 6-year deficit, and as that continues for the next 10 years, with technology advancing, physical demand shoots up so much that mining just can't keep up with it. Would you flip the gold-silver ratio if it gets to the point where would it still be a good idea to change silver for gold? So everybody is going to have their own opinion on this. Now, if you've been stacking for a while and you have a large amount of silver, space becomes an issue. That was a common theme that a lot of people put in their comments tonight or today. A lot of people said space becomes an issue. Easiest way is, if all of a sudden we do a 30-to-1 ratio, yeah, I would rather hold 1 ounce of gold instead of 30 ounces of silver. Where do you draw the line? I mean, right now, gold-silver ratio, we just looked at it, 65. We are not there. We already came all the way down to 46. Some people were changing. I know one person, though, he traded 1 ounce of gold, and he ended up getting like 53 ounces of silver, even though the spot price was still like 50. So he gained 3 ounces or 6% more silver. He said, no, as the lower we go, the harder it is to make that trade. And he wanted the silver, though, still. He still viewed silver as going a whole lot higher in price, or the gold-silver ratio going a whole lot lower. He was able to play that. There's going to be a lot of people that want to trade out at 60-to-1. A lot of people want to trade out at 50-to-1. At 40-to-1, it will get harder to find people that are willing to give up gold at 40-to-1. It'll get really hard if we go to 20-to-1. It'll be almost impossible to find someone that says, yeah, I'll take 20 ounces of silver for my 1 ounce of gold. It'll be almost impossible. But if the ratio is 20-to-1 and someone tells me, I'll give you 23 ounces of silver for your 1 ounce of gold, that's instant profit. I'm taking that. That's what 15%, I think, more, if I did the math right in my head. 15% more silver, I would jump on that than the ratio. But it all comes down to where we're at the time. Would I go all in and dump on my silver? Absolutely not. I am in silver for the long haul, you might say. And yeah, I mean, I think the gold-silver ratio is a great play. We had opportunities where you could buy 125 ounces of silver for the price of 1 ounce of gold. Those people that had the foresight to buy it, will be considering wanting to go to gold. Look at just in the comments, a lot of people were saying you shouldn't buy gold. Not a lot, but a couple that prefer gold over silver. Why? When this market does eventually, if it crashes, but I don't think it has the potential to crash much more than we've already seen. That's just my opinion, not financial advice. But I mean, people get scared the higher it goes, and they look down and they're like, "Oh boy," So who knows? What is up, John? Morning, T and fellow stackers. Have you heard about the fake silver in China? I heard like 60 tons. Yeah, you can't watch pull up your mainstream and not see that. However, I've seen this game play out before where they put that out there. It's a scare tactic, I believe. But yes, there is fake silver out there. But I believe a lot of it is being publicized more than it should be. Or it's being publicized a lot more because they want people to be scared of buying silver. Be mindful what you buy, where you buy it. If you're buying it in the street, be worrisome and be careful. The Happy Stacker, good morning, T. I don't know what metals are doing right now. I wish they would separate from the paper from physical markets. Excuse me. At least I have your stacking basics to fall back on. Have a great weekend, bro. So here's the thing, though. Anybody that does not have a lot of silver or gold should not want to see the price go up. You don't want to see the default. You don't want to see a breakdown between the paper and the physical market. You want to see the game continue on. In fact, for some of us, it would be great just to see the game get back on track, manipulation, peace, and the price comes down to 20. I know a lot of you don't want that because you already have a lot of stack. You've been stacking for a while, but it's a two-sided coin. There's a lot of people that would like to have more opportunity to stack, but the odds of it plunging down will take time, and it ain't going to happen instantly, so I'm not worried about it, but we'll see. T, I figured out why we are up late at night. I know where it's going without even looking at the next line. We must have got bit by vampires. Laugh out loud. Oh, there's someone in the chat right now that doesn't like silver. Something to think about. Vampires don't. Oh, no, never mind. That's not vampires. It's werewolves. Werewolves don't like silver, but you could be right. I know I'm up late at night. I mean, here it is, 2:15 in the morning. So yeah. And last comment, Mike. Morning, everyone. Thank you so much for all the great comments. I can't thank you all enough. Some really great comments, and I think we had a good video. I don't know how long we've been, but it is the weekend. We'll see. I might get up a couple shorts only because I ended up going to see one of my friends. He sends a lot of stuff into the refinery, and he showed me a lot of cool stuff recently, all the way down to someone selling gold fillings, which is pretty crazy. How many of y'all ever seen gold fillings? Teeth. Like literally. The guy brought it in to a friend of mine, and my friend said it still had parts of the teeth on it. He told him he had to take it home, smash out the teeth, and then he could bring the gold filling back, and we'd reweigh it. And sure enough, they reweighed it, and it was more accurate. And he said, I could bust it up, but it would be a fun experience if you do it to learn that the teeth is not what is gold right now? It's not $5,000 an ounce. We ain't buying teeth for $5,000 an ounce. Maybe the gold fillings, yes, but not the teeth. So take all the teeth out. But it was pretty cool to see. I've never seen that. So who knows? With that being said, going to wrap up the video here. I thank everybody for watching. I hope you hit the thumbs up. I hope you hit the subscribe button. Left me a comment. Even if it's just a quick comment, good morning or whatever. I thank you all for watching, commenting. And I will see you guys again on Tsquare Talk. Please take a quick minute. Check out some of these other great videos. I will put a couple hyperlinks right here so you can just click on one of these and check out that video. Take care, everybody, and have a great day. Bye-bye.